We showed you this yesterday afternoon right outside of City Hall. A man yelling and waving a machete in the air with people standing around afraid to move. Law enforcement quickly responded, tasing the man and safely taking him into custody. Police from several agencies got there in seconds and worked together to de-escalate that situation.
State police ended the bizarre encounter by tasing the man. Chris Jackman witnessed it all and joins us live from City Hall. She spoke with state troopers about the incident and why they say their training helped prevent anyone from getting hurt. Chris?
That's right, Ton and Natalie. It was a very scary situation. We were actually inside City Hall just doing research on another story when I walked out and saw him standing right here with a machete in his hand, shouting profanities and just saying that he wanted to die. The man then walked over here towards Duncan Plaza, kept going back and forth. Once he was over there, authorities soon arrived, talked to him down, tried to calm him down. That's when we pulled out our cameras and saw it all unfold. And that is when they took him safely into custody. And law enforcement officials tell us tonight that's exactly how they wanted it to end. Intense moments outside of City Hall ends with a taser. But let's backtrack a little bit to show how it all happened.
They're asking him to put down the weapon.
Trooper Dustin DeWhite with Louisiana State Police examines it frame by frame.
You can see he's escalating with the way he's screaming, his posture, his body stance. See how he's got a wide base with his feet?
The man, 52-year-old Willie Carruth, stands before multiple law enforcement agencies and a crowd, telling everyone he's going to die. Authorities try reasoning with him.
A calm voice by the officer. It looks like the drop the weapon has been said multiple times.
Carruth reaches for his weapon, which is now inside of the case.
The other officers, looks like only a pair of sheriff's deputies are coming in. They're going to effect the arrest. They're going to actually be the ones placing handcuffs while he maintains compliance on the suspect.
He begins pulling it out when the state trooper tases him, sending Carruth to the ground. DeWhite says every agency used their de-escalation training perfectly.
I can speak from experience that we have exact scenarios just like the one that played out yesterday where somebody is armed with a weapon.
Carruth is now in custody. Court records show his criminal history dates back 30 years. He's being charged with resisting arrest and aggravated assault.
And right now, we suspect impairment may have been a factor in this arrest, narcotics specifically.
DeWhite says the mental state of an individual during a crisis scenario can be hard to assess on the spot.
It's an extremely difficult position for law enforcement to be in because I'm not going to be able to mentally assess this gentleman within a matter of seconds. That cannot happen from my perspective because my job is to make sure I'm safe and everybody around us is safe.
In the wake of so many high-profile encounters with officers, Trooper DeWhite says this one should be a case study in proper policing. Now, Trooper DeWhite also wanted to mention to us that this very same trooper rehearsed the same scenario 1 year ago, trying to disarm a man that was armed with a knife. And again, thankfully, because of that training, this all ended peacefully. Reporting live at City Hall, I'm Chris Jackman, Eyewitness News.